Like the video and subscribe to our channel right now and get 1 week of amazing luck. America is referred to as the land of opportunity, and immigrants seeking a chance at success have long looked to this country. However, obtaining permission to move to any country is extremely difficult, so many choose to enter other nations through less legal routes. From hiding under a seat to tucked up in a toolbox, here are 15 crazy ways immigrants tried to sneak into the country. Number 15. Hidden in car. The majority of us are lucky to reside in secure nations with access to basic essentials of life. However, this isn't the case for everyone, which is why a lot of people risk their lives to leave their nation and enter a better one. That may have been the reason for 2 teenage guys from Guinea, a sub-Saharan country, forcing themselves into hiding places inside a Hyundai station wagon in an attempt to pass through the Benyanzar crossing in the Spanish enclave of Melilla in northern Africa. Officers conducted a standard security check at the crossing when the car came to a stop in order to search for any unusual activity. They did discover anomalies in the car, which prompted them to conduct a more thorough investigation. After scanning the vehicle for heartbeats using a heartbeat detection device, they discovered 2 teenagers hiding, one beneath the back seats and the other behind the dashboard. Due to how tightly crammed into these spaces they were, the police had to actually cut parts of the vehicle to get them out. It was likely challenging for them to get into those spaces in the first place. Because of the smallness of the areas and their exposure to toxic gases from the car, both teens were experiencing numbness. Number 14. Hidden in vehicle bumper. Border workers inspect every nook and cranny of nearly every vehicle, but very rarely do they start disassembling cars looking for illegal immigrants. They did in this instance, and it was successful. When Civil Guardia authorities first examined the car's bumper near Morocco at the Melilla border on Africa's north coast, they probably found out that someone had been hiding inside. Before long, officers were unclipping the bumper from the vehicle, revealing a man tucked away inside. While it's not known which way he was traveling, many people tried to enter the European Union from Africa, which might have been the case here. When they removed the man who wasn't wearing any shoes from the bumper, it was clear he hadn't had a smooth or comfortable trip. He appeared dazed and unwell and had trouble standing up on his own. It's likely that he would have been given medical care at the scene before being sent back to his home country. Number 13. Hidden in wood shaving. Workers such as truck drivers must transport goods across borders all the time, and it's easy to assume their loads are all innocent and above board. But that's not always the case, which is why Customs and Border Protection officers must always be vigilant. They found a Mexican national hidden beneath a mound of wood shavings in the rear of a truck near the Otay Mesa border thanks to their alertness. Using their imaging technology, the officers discovered an irregularity in the wood shavings after stopping a tractor-trailer for a secondary examination. Once the sheet covering the load of wood shavings was removed, they noticed a man's dusty hand. Director of Field Operations for U.S. Customs and Border Protection Pete Flores claims that smugglers take every way to transport people and drugs, and his agents are vigilant and focused on finding them. Oddly enough, the man in the wood shavings had a valid U.S. visa, so it's not quite apparent why he didn't just go along for the ride with the truck driver. Number 12. Tucked inside a car roof box. Owning a car roof box is convenient. You may keep your car clean by keeping your baggage and other belongings inside boxes that are mounted on racks on your roof, as opposed to packing it full of stuff. But perhaps a roof box isn't the best solution if you live somewhere with border crossings. That's certainly what one couple believed when they arrived home in Hungerford, Berkshire, UK, from Nice, France, carrying one extra person than when they left. They knew someone was inside the roof box when they heard knocking from it when they got back to their peaceful residential street. A stowaway from Sudan. Will and Lucy Wintercross had spent a week in Nice before driving through the French countryside to return home. On the way home, they had stopped at the City Europe shopping mall near Calais to purchase wine before going through the Channel Tunnel. The roof box they used for their travels wasn't in the best condition. Will had broken the lock previously and it was easy enough to pry open with a screwdriver. A car drew up beside them on the M25 and indicated that their roof box was open. Will thought it had to do with the broken lock, so he pulled over, used a tow rope to tie it shut, and ultimately made it home. Will called emergency services when they heard the knocking, and the operator told him to stay in touch with the person to make sure they were okay before the cops arrived. Despite their limited English, the stowaway managed to communicate with Will by knocking and exchanging a few words to make sure he was alright. The man wouldn't have had that most comfortable journey squished in with a suitcase and rock climbing gear, but the police removed him from the box without issue and let him away in cuffs. Number 11. Hiding in a package. When you order mail from overseas, you expect to receive it along with maybe a receipt and documentation about your purchase. What you don't expect is to receive a human with your order. Parts that a Belgian company bought from Germany showed up on a pallet as expected. Although the pallet had been wrapped in plastic, at least one side of the product seemed to have been damaged. Given that people were filming the pallet being unwrapped while it was raised on a forklift at the company, the employees were probably aware of what was going to happen. A man with a large smile on his face, sporting a jacket and bag, emerged from his hiding spot wearing casually a sweatshirt, trousers, and boots. Given that it takes about 6 hours to get from Germany to Belgium, the individual would have had a difficult and drawn-out trip within the pallet. The smile was presumably a sign of relief that he was finally out of his plastic hiding place. The individual had a broad smile on his face, but it's unknown what happened to him. Since it takes 6 hours to get from Germany to Belgium, the man must have had a difficult and drawn-out trip within the pallet. The man's smile could have been regarded as a relief after being freed from his plastic hiding place. It's unclear if he was an illegal immigrant or if he was just trying to get a free trip to Belgium. It's also unclear if the proprietors of the establishment let the man go or notified the police. Number 10. Loaded into a pickup truck.
And take a look at this vehicle. It's labeled as a Border Patrol car. Looks like one.
A fake U.S. Customs Border Protection truck carrying 17 migrants was stopped from crossing the border to America. Mexican immigration officers noticed something odd about the truck as it tried to cross into California. Pictures of the truck revealed that it was equipped with fictitious Department of Homeland Security license plates and decal stickers similar to those used by official CBP tricks. The masterminds behind the operation, the traffickers, misled the migrants into believing the scheme was flawless. They told them that when they came to the border, no one would question them, so they should get inside their vehicle. U.S. authorities eventually confiscated the truck. It is not the first time that officials have seen a cloned CBP truck. In 2021, Homeland Security and Border Patrol agents stopped a similar operation near the Tucson border. They encountered a fake CBP truck carrying 10 migrants. Number 9. Hiding in a mattress. In an attempt to travel from Africa to Europe, 2 migrants can be seen in this video emerging from a mattress. When border authorities discovered the men at a checkpoint between Morocco and the Spanish enclave of Melilla, they were taken into custody. According to the authorities, this is the first time that migrants have been smuggled using this technique. However, this method is employed by criminal organizations to smuggle weapons and drugs. Men in Guardia Civil uniforms can be seen cutting through the wrapping after removing the mattress from the roof of the van. 2 men emerge as guards watch in shock. The footage was posted to Spanish Senator John Iñárritu's X page. The men were healthy and did not require medical attention, even though they were covered in mattresses. The car's driver escaped into Morocco before being taken into custody. The main entry point for migrants and asylum seekers in search of a better life is Spain. The bloodshed and strife in Libya and Italy have complicated the smuggling path. The only land border between the European Union and Africa is Melilla. Number 8. Hidden in vehicle bumper. Smugglers profit heavily from the smuggling of desperate migrants into Europe from Spain and Morocco. Here's another amusing way to get away. Sadly, nothing went according to plan in this instance. In Melilla, a Spanish colony in North Africa, 2 Moroccans were taken into custody. There was something fishy about the bumper. Border police were therefore interested. It was evident that there was life inside thanks to the use of an advanced heartbeat sensor. They tore it apart and were amazed by what they saw. A man from Guinea was tied underneath the bumper. Despite hundreds of migrants losing their lives through this means, it doesn't deter anyone. The man was unable to stand and was already weak. In addition, he experienced problems with breathing and tingling in several body areas. Since then, thousands of people have fled their homes in pursuit of a better life due to the violence in the Middle East. The situation continues to be difficult for European politicians to handle. Number 7. Jumping on lorries. This astonishing footage shows about 13 men narrowly escaping oncoming vehicles running towards them. The stowaways were filmed dashing from the back of a Polish registered lorry near Northampton services. Video taken from a car shows a black Vauxhall Insignia almost ramming into one of the runners. One of the gang is seen falling from the container to his back. He was just inches from the car's wheels. Viewers were shocked at the migrants' dash. It is heartbreaking to see that the government doesn't have as much control over immigration. Events like these happen daily but are filmed only a few times. One user called the borders a joke. If it isn't, how do people evade immigration into another country? The video was shared over 8,000 times after it was posted. Many asked who the men were and the threats they posed to the new country, in this case, the UK. Later that day, the police said all 13 people were detained near the motorway and taken into custody. Number 6. Bus seat disguise. This picture was taken on June 7, 2001, when an undocumented immigrant attempted to play fast in front of the authorities. Enrique Aguilar Concola, a native of Mexico, desired to immigrate to the United States in order to start over. After considering he won't be allowed through the land border, another idea came to mind. In an effort to break into the United States illegally, he stitched himself into the passenger seat of a car. His plans fell through as the car came to a stop at the border crossing in San Ysidro, California. He attempted to enter the United States through one of the busiest border crossings worldwide. It was not long before he was recognized on the seat and asked which option he wanted. The episode was part of a trend, according to U.S. immigration and naturalization officials. In order to enter the country, undocumented immigrants frequently stuff themselves into car compartments that might be fatal. Number 5. Stowaway in a train. Aside from hiding in cars, migrants also explore the train route. In this case, the stowaway includes 2 pregnant women and a 3-year-old girl crammed into a 3-foot-deep compartment slung between the wheels. They entered Eurostar's Paris depot covertly at night in an attempt to escape their nation. Their endeavor serves as just another example of the terrible risks that illegal immigrants are prepared to undergo in order to fulfill their goals. They were risking their lives more than they knew. The would-be immigrants were minutes away from making a return journey. Passengers boarding the 21-coach train to Brussels heard a banging noise and alerted security staff. The compartments where they hid themselves were part of the high aerodynamic spoilers that ran the full length of each coach. Officials say the Romanians were helped to board the train. A criminal gang in the country that spread its wings to the train station was part of the arrangement. The group was probably promised that they would be rescued in the UK. In most cases, they are left to their fate. The company insisted that its Paris depot is secure and under 24-hour surveillance. They were shocked to learn that the security was breached at some point. Number 4. Trapped in a toolbox. Agents from the Del Rio area had a busy weekend after being overloaded with almost a dozen cases involving smuggling. 26 illegal aliens and 14 people smugglers were captured as a result of the operation. 2 U.S. nationals were detained earlier in the week for allegedly trying to pass a Honduran person through the immigration checkpoint on Highway 57 close to Eagle Pass. The illegal alien was discovered trapped and unable to escape in the toolbox of a pickup truck. Many lives have been lost in horrible conditions like these. Smugglers often lock these migrants in car trunks, tractor trailers, and toolboxes with temperatures of over 100 degrees and no way to escape. It ends tragically. The Del Rio sector apprehends thousands of illegal migrants every year. These travelers are at greater risk in the hands of human smuggling cartels who subject them to confined spaces like utility toolboxes and vehicle trunks. Smuggling attracts a maximum sentence of up to 20 years in prison. Number 3. Hiding in a suitcase. This man was observed hiding in a suitcase behind a car in an attempt to enter the country secretly. As he attempted to pass the checkpoint at Falfurrias, he was caught. There were 4 people spotted inside the Chevy Tahoe. About 160 miles south of San Antonio, as they got closer to the checkpoint on U.S. Highway 281, the officers requested a supplemental search. When officers started taking things out of the car, they discovered a man curled up inside a bag that had been zipped up. He was sweating profusely. They discovered an additional individual concealed beneath the car. Beneath clothes and blankets in the cargo area was another man hiding. Meanwhile, one of the passengers admitted that he had been living in the U.S. illegally. All 3 men were Mexican nationals and were immediately returned to their country. As for the driver and 2 passengers, they were arrested and prosecuted. Smugglers charge illegal migrants a fee to bring their dreams to life. Number 2. Hidden in waste container. The risks associated with unlawful migration are exacerbated by China's human smugglers. This bunch would stop at nothing to get their way. This time, they transported them inside a 40-foot-long steel container that provided no means of escape in the unfortunate circumstance that something went wrong. At the Los Angeles terminal yard, 14 Chinese men and a 16-year-old boy were found by security personnel. The trio made their getaway from a cargo container that had been unloaded earlier that day and had been modified with hidden trapdoors. Following a medical evaluation, the guys were brought to an INS detention facility to file for asylum. Numerous undocumented immigrants have been detained after entering ports in the United States and Canada in shipping containers. According to U.S. officials, the Chinese paid between $50,000 and $60,000 to stay inside the steel containers for up to 2 weeks. Smugglers have recently shifted from using soft-top shipping containers to hard-top ones. In one of these containers, about 3 guys had perished, and numerous more had come dangerously close. Number 1. Tucked inside a car's glove box. Here's another proof that people would go to any length to enter Europe. Spanish police posted the pictures. It shows a man in his 20s squeezed behind a car dashboard trying to enter Spain's North African enclave of Melilla. That tragic day saw the seizure of 3 vehicles. In one of the photos, there was an undocumented immigrant behind the back seats of a car. Another was trapped in a dump truck in a hazardous situation. They didn't care that they might be crushed. 2 males in their 20s and a girl of 15 are among the migrants. Border police confirmed that the men were already showing signs of suffocation, joint pains, and disorientation. The men driving the car were Moroccan nationals aged 19 to 31. They were arrested for smuggling humans. They drove Moroccan-registered cars of different brands.